So we're at, come on, just let me do the intro. Um, so round 4, this is a winning end. We've got Troy on the left playing Boros Burn. We saw him at the tail end of round 1. He's got a young Pyromancer deck, so it's mostly red. The white is just for Boros Charm and I think some sideboard cards, possibly, though I can't really confirm that. And then Logan is playing a classic blue-white control deck. So it should be a classic battle of the Counterspell deck versus the basically mono red for all intents and purposes.
Yep, the white cards in Troy's mono red deck are Chains of the Rocks in the main, Boros in the sideboard.
Oh yeah, he does play Chains of the Rocks, which I forgot about.
The black card in Troy's deck is the black-red split card, Toil and Trouble.
End of turn shock. Or shock in response to Boros Charm. Or Azorius Charm to cycle. It's interesting too, because Logan is a Supreme Verdict deck, but he's like not going to be super excited about casting Supreme Verdict. Or he kind of has to leave them in because Pyromancer gets out of control very quickly.
Yeah,
but you don't want Supreme Verdict against the burn deck either.
Well, his sound is Aetherling. That's very, very good. Like a turn 7 Aetherling with 1 mana keep it alive is definitely what Logan needs.
So interesting split from Troy here. He's going to basically give him the counter spell or the win condition.
What's under the Aetherling?
A detention sphere.
True.
He may be playing extra copies.
Yeah, I mean, some of the blue-white decks run up to 3 Aetherlings. And if he has one in his hand already, the Syncopate was the correct decision. So draw go from Troy. Chase still alive. I don't know if you tick it up here. Troy's definitely incentivized to just use a lightning strike on it. So I think just getting 2 activations out of your Jace is the best you can hope for.
So that seems like a pretty obvious split there with Supreme and land versus the Dissipate, or the Dissolve. Keep saying Dissipate. And then Logan has no play there, so he misses his 5th land drop, sitting back on Counterspell Magic. Counterspell Magic, Counter Magic, or Counterspell, so I don't think Counterspell Magic is a necessary redundancy.
We can be repetitively redundant all you want.
And there is the young Pyromancer, which is going to meet a Counterspell. I would sure to God hope.
So the Syncopate here while you have the mana to...
Yes, while it's relevant. That's exactly what Logan does. Exiling the Pyromancer, and then Troy, unfortunately, does not have another one to back it up, which would be, I guess, the best possible play there.
Finds a land, it's okay.
It'd be very disheartening if you Syncopate, tap out, and then he resolves the second Pyromancer. Troy drawing a lot of lands, though, so Logan's got to be pleased about that. He's also still at 16 life with a Dissipate in his hand against the burn deck, or Dissolve, I should say.
There's a big one.
Well, tapping out for Azorius Charm allows Troy to land a War Leader's Helix. So put him up to 24 and Logan down to 12.
The math in those matchups are very interesting too, from both decks. As the main win condition from Logan is going to be Elspeth or Aetherling, which Troy's not buying any extra turns by gaining 4 life there. What he is doing though is when it comes down to surviving 3 Aetherling hits, he's set himself up to use a shock as a fog against 8-1 Aetherling. So, War Leader's Helix could have a little bit of value down the road, even if Troy has to shock himself at some point in this match.
And start the clock.
We've been about 5 minutes.
We're going with 39.
So a bold prediction.
Like living on the edge here. So this is a classic draw-go battle between a mono-red deck and the blue-white control deck, because Troy can't afford to just send random bolts Logan's way and into counter magic. You have to set up a critical turn in which you want to resolve a threat and then go there. Of course, one of the most important cards in this matchup, I would imagine, is Chandra's Phoenix, if you can get it in under a Dissolve or a Syncopate.
Well, Syncopate and Last Breath take care of Phoenix indefinitely as well. As does Detention Sphere. But,
Free Christmas pack.
oh, thank you very much, JP.
We'll give Zach one too.
I don't. You can give it. I'll give it away to somebody. Thank you. That's very nice.
Give me Dragon's Maze. I don't know.
So
I don't know who's getting the better end of the
JB, the store managers, would you see a Dissolve take out Chandra's Phoenix?
So the Dissolve obviously not the primary. The best way to take care of it is Troy can just fire off a burn spell and get it back here.
Dissolve doesn't exile?
No. Syncopate Exile.
Why do I keep reading that card. I both say Dissipate and then think it does what Dissipate does. But
Yeah, it's very close.
yeah.
It gets an extra. It's a cancel with a slide upside.
So Omen Speaker pushes 2 cards to the bottom. So Logan digging for that Aetherling that he put on the bottom of his deck earlier. Not sure how many Aetherlings he plays. I've seen as few as 1 and as many as 3 in these competitive decks. So
Here comes. Okay, now we've reached the point where we're chained to the rocks saying an Omen Speaker.
do what you got to do.
You do.
Last night in Modern playtesting, I lost to a twin opponent who resolved a Deceiver Exarch, and after I slaughter games both have his combo, attacked with it 12 times to kill me.
The only other thing Chained to the Rocks can do in this matchup is fog an Aetherling. Or get an Aetherling out of the way for your ground attackers.
Sure, just a falter.
So here is a Lightning Strike. Logan counting up Syncopate mana. Syncopate, one of those telling cards of the format.
Where you start counting your mana.
Whenever you cast a spell and your opponent asks you, how many lands do you have untapped?
My favorite was back when Snapcaster was in play, and then people would draw for their turn, shuffle their hand, then flay out their graveyard, and it's like, oh, what did you just draw? That was what's fun about when Reed Duke was tearing up the world playing Jund before rotation. He would draw every card off the top like it was a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, it's very, you have to do that at that level because that information is incredibly valuable.
Yep, you can do the Reed Duke style, or the one of the other Star City Games players, which was it was Brad Nelson. Brad Nelson at the end of every turn would always take about 10 seconds, and then he just draws his card. And he knows if it's a bonfire, then he's going to cast it. Or if it's a terminus, he's going to cast it. If not, it's going to get to his hand. So there's no pause.
Yep, that's also an option. Just consistency is all you need to do. So we've got Logan down to 5 here.
More importantly, we're getting a burn spell in that'll get our Phoenix back.
Yep, and we're scrying. I couldn't see what the other card was, but the one underneath it is a War Leader's Helix, so there's lots of business there. There's a Chandra's Phoenix.
He's only went through 2 Syncopates, so you can't expect Logan to have too many more.
It looks like he cycled the one of Quicken that these decks often play.
Speaking of the local legend.
Ooh, man, I already opened my pack. I got all the good.
You got all the Griffins?
No, I got like a Blood Scavenger or whatever. Again.
Blood Scrivener?
Yeah, my
The
fourth
almost a
one.
Bob?
Yeah.
Detention Sphere, Skullcrack in response to D-Sphere?
Okay.
So Logan has to have a counterspell here or he's dead. Sphinx's
Revelation.
Revelation will also be good.
Yeah, he's got one.
Well, Troy is also probably trying to see what Logan's response here is, because if he has another burn spell, like if he has a Shock or a Magnojet, he can kill his Phoenix. In response
Yes,
to the Detention Sphere targeting it.
true.
So So if you have a way to deal with this Skullcrack, you can. And if you do, I'm going to buy back my Phoenix.
There's Dissolve targeting Skullcrack, and the last card in Troy's hand is apparently irrelevant. So Logan's going to scry one, leaves it on top. Phoenix down.
I know Logan has a Revan in his hand.
If Logan untaps and casts a Revelation, the game's over.
This is all in Logan's main phase.
That is true.
Yeah, because they'd have been pretty cool if you get a Detention Sphere.
Quicken Detention Sphere?
Yeah, Quicken, yeah. Why not?
There's a route for one. And Logan falls to the second Skullcrack in Troy's hand.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've been doing this a long time. It's like almost a year and a half now. And I've watched a lot of Magic. Watched a lot of different archetypes, a lot of different players, a lot of different circumstances. This is maybe the most boring game of Magic I've ever watched.
Ooh, even more so than Maze's End?
Yeah, because at least Maze's End.
Because you have like what was it? It was in Ravnica.
Renounce the Guilds?
No, it was in the first one. The Purification or whatever.
Yeah. Zach, do you know if you have any reflecting pools for sale? Well, first of all, Zach is not in here. Second of all, we don't. So this match is
Starting underway.
Came underway. I know Troy signs out his Chain to the Rocks in this matchup, brings in a number of Assemble the Legion. I think he brings in 2 Assemble the Legion and probably 2 other non-creature permanents. That's going to be a problem for Logan to deal with. Logan probably takes out
Detention Sphere.
I don't know what Logan brings in. No, because Detention Sphere you have to leave in for whatever Troy brings in. Like, you know Troy's going to bring in non-creature stuff. But Last Breath is definitely a card that should be sided in. I don't know what you take out. Like, counterspells are actually really good in this matchup. So, like, counterspells aren't the best, but still counterspells have a lot of value whenever they're...
The gate would be...
Whenever they're countering War Leader's Helix to your face to buy back a Chandra's Phoenix.
Ooh.
So we have all the Last Breaths.
Troy's up to 28 now.
Logan should just scoop. I don't think he has 28 damage in his deck. As I slowly fiddle around to find the way of the life tools. So Troy not missing a land drop, as always. Here's a good one. This is a War Leader's Helix that's going to eat a Dissolve. It's going to tap Logan out. Now Troy's going to untap with 5 mana, and this is the problem. This is why you can't counter that War Leader's Helix, because if Troy slams an Assembled Legion right here, and you don't have a Detention Sphere for it, oh man.
You built that up so well. Up there it is.
Got it. If he doesn't have that Detention Sphere, this was, did he play 2 lands that turn? No, he played a Scryland last turn.
And Logan's still on 3.
Which is plenty enough for a Detention Sphere, and he hasn't used any to kill these Phoenixes. He's used 2 Last Breaths. But there's a Divination, so we're going to get 1 token out of this at least.
Logan got to land up to 4.
Yeah, ever awesome. I know that he leaves in shocks because he simply doesn't have cards to bring in. He doesn't own Chandra Pyromaster. So that would be the card that usually comes in replacing Shock. But that's also a $25 card. Swing 1. We have the appropriate token too. So end of turn Shock plus the 1 damage, dropping Logan down to 15.
That's not bad.
Troy's deck, well, yeah. Logan coming up with a very good answer. So this has got to be scary for Troy. Like,
Well, I mean,
if Logan had a Detention Sphere, he wouldn't play it if he could Divination into a lane and play Chase. So Troy definitely has a lot of options to get this Chase off the table, such as Boros Charm. This Troy's going to read a question. I know what this question is. I know that Troy's going to ask. So Troy must have a way to get this Chase off the table. If I was sitting in Logan's seat, this is what I would think. Troy has enough burn to kill Jace, and he's wanting to know that if you kill Jace, if you get the trigger on the token still. So if Troy doesn't kill him this turn, if I'm Logan, I'm -2ing that next turn. I'm getting the value out of it. Yep. And that's exactly what happens as we double Skullcrack.
And he didn't attack.
Right. Because you still have the cover stone effect. But he has the ability to swing for 5 next turn. And now Logan in the position if he...
There's 6.
Yeah, he's getting 3 next turn.
Yeah, he's got 6.
So Logan's in the position now, needing another Jace, or
3 detention spheres.
or two detention spheres, because, well, that's not going to do it.
What was it? No, that's not going to do it.
That's going to stop one of them. And even though Troy started out off his Chain to the Rocks, that Aetherling has very little impact on this board. The good thing that Aetherling does is it's going to give Logan a clock to race back, and he can use his verdicts to keep the board somewhat clear. But this is definitely a losing proposition for Logan right here. Assemble the Legion, sticking on turn 6 for Troy was the play of this game. Because he's not spewing his cards. Like this is what the burn deck does. He's limited to, what is it, 6 lands a turn. It's not like he can. It's not like he can have 4 shocks and 3 Skullcracks in his hand and hope to fire them off all in one turn. He doesn't have 12 mana. Like there are points in the game where you actually have to cast your spells. This is the infamous Troy King. Go to my draw step, back up to my upkeep, have my upkeep trigger,
Then draw my card.
Then keep the card in my hand for my draw step.
Ooh, Quicken Supreme Verdict.
There it is. Verdict.
Ooh.
And you know he was just like, verdict.
I had it. And now hopefully he has the detention sphere. That's what he drew off the Quicken.
The follow-up to detention sphere of the Assemble Legion would be very, very good for Logan right here.
Troy trying away 2 lands.
Very good start there for him. Logan played that turn very well. No, he would slam the detention sphere if he had it. So he doesn't.
Assuming. Looks like he may have no. Don't say he may have Revelation with the way he had his lands, but I doubt it.
Garrett falling behind and keeping track of life totals here.
Yep.
This very swingy match right here. I'm very excited to be watching it.
Troy have.
He has 2 in his hand right now.
Yeah.
And he tried to the bottom, so he doesn't know what he's drawing. He kept 1 on top. So this is an attack for 5.
You think that Logan would have held his Jace back to block?
Well, yeah, Blink's Aetherling, which does signify Revelation.
Yeah.
I assume that Troy said go to combat, and Logan is going to Sphinx's Revelation before any damage gets in. Troy obviously not having a Skullcrack. He's going to set him behind here as Logan gets to draw 4 cards, gain 4 life, take 5 damage.
7.
Drop him to 7, but more relevant is the cards he drew and the clock he has on board. As now he can probably start pumping that Aetherling. It's still a 3-turn clock for Troy here. And if Logan ever...
But Troy, Logan's kind of on a one turn clock from...
Yeah, but you gotta expect he drew an answer.
I would hope.
To the Assembly Legion here.
Which I would think it would have already...
It's a very... Well, you gotta sequence it out here. You gotta be able to kill the Assemble and take care of the tokens. And attack with your Aetherling and possibly pump it. So I don't envy the position.
There's a possible pump.
I don't envy the position that Logan's in right now. He's got a grip full of cards. I see the Zorius Charm. So what happens if we pump for 4 and the Zorius Charm lifelink? That puts us to 15. We take 11 on the next turn, and dead to a Boros Charm. We know Troy kept the top card of his library, and I can only imagine that means that there's a Chandra's Phoenix, or a 3 or 4 damage burn spell on top. As any shocks, the only other card that would be defensible there would be like a Magna Jet or a Sack of the Symbol of Legion. But you gotta be scared of that top card if you're Logan. So Logan figuring out how much mana he has to work with here. And Troy has 2 cards in hand and untapped lands, so you might be at a lower life total than what you expect at the end of this turn. Regardless, we gotta hurry up here. We have to make a decision because this game's going to take at least another 3 minutes. Sideboarding takes at least another 3 minutes. I don't know if Logan can win in 12 minutes.
Okay, so you want with the pump.
So
Charm.
we're pumping for 3, and Azorius Charming, which means we gain 7 life. Drops Troy to 13 and brings Logan up to 14, which isn't going to be enough if Troy has a number of burn spells in his hand. He didn't fire off anything end of turn. Oh, just put tokens out, man. It doesn't matter if they're 1/1 humans or 3/3 centaurs.
Just put them in the back.
Womp. Block 1. Boros Charming. Negate it.
Alright.
So we're still playing Magic here. So Troy has 2 more turns to find reach. If his on-board problems get answered by Logan, here's a verdict. No, here's a chase. That answers everything. Why didn't I think of that?
I don't know, because we went the hard way.
If he can Detention Sphere and Quicken Supreme Verdict again. Or he could just play 1 card and take care of everything. So we missed it.
Which?
This is the old. This is notable Troy King play here. If you go back and watch the modern event, you'll see Troy King play Aether Vow.
Hey.
It was just as bad then as it is now.
So
I personally messaged Troy on Facebook after going back and watching that, and told him, "Dude, put the dice on top of your deck."
Yeah, something. Some type of reminder. Alright. So he did not have 2 burn spells.
Did he just get attacked for 4 last turn?
Wish I could see what Troy is flipping.
They gotta be lands. I'm surprised we didn't pump last turn.
I think he wanted to hold it back for counter spell.
Which would mean that he probably has a Syncopate in his hand.
True. Or a negate. Because Singer Paint, there's no point. But Troy has too many lands that it's not gonna be an issue at all. I think that you would pump this turn.
So unblockable to Aetherling.
Or, I don't know, you might... You think you can live next turn, you might not pump. Or pump twice.
Well, if you pump twice, which I think is what he should have done last turn, Troy be at 7. You can pump 3 times this turn.
Well, then you won't have to pump.
Either way, this game is going to another turn. We're putting out tokens. these players have to be aware that there's only 15 minutes left in this round.
I don't think so. Because that's only for entertainment purposes.
Even if our clock is, well, there is a Chandra. He must not have as many Chandras as he needed. Because I know that he was looking for Chandras before FNM started. Whatever we're doing here, we have to do it on the upkeep. Ooh, I don't like that play by Logan whatsoever. It's obviously good, because obviously what Troy's trying to do there was lightning strike, deal 3 damage to you, and then ping you. So Logan
that one?
Logan pulling that one out.
I'm not coming again. I was watching that out there.
we were so excited. We were so excited about it in here that I totally forgot that I was like running this stuff for like 5 turns.
Nice.
We were just so entranced by this game. So Troy going down to 6. I don't think he had any lands in his opening hand.
I think this game may be a draw.
Yeah, we are running low on time. One of these decks can win very quickly.
One of them can't.
Turn 6, Aetherling can do some work, or turn 6, Elspeth.
He just ran it right out there.
Why not? Well, on that razor's edge, sometimes you get cut, sometimes you don't.
Well, the thinking man would say that all the chain tool rocks are sided out in this matchup.
They are. I watched them be set out.
Well, and then it would take 2 burn spells to kill it.
Yeah.
Those 2 burn spells.
He already had to spend 2 skull cracks to kill Jace.
Yeah, Jace.
So his hand was light anyway.
Sometimes you just have to take that chance.
Knock, knock.
Yeah, sorry.
So see Troy setting up for this game, hitting Skryland into Shockland into Mountain. Logan not having double blue, but hitting off his land drops. So we end up turn Shock.
It pains me that Shock is a playable card. Like, that's what we have to play.
Yep.
What would you rather?
Lightning Bolt.
Well, who wouldn't?
I just hate that that's like
You know who else would?
Standard.
everyone in the world.
No. Who's the guy that designs core sets?
Mark Rosewater?
Yeah, he would too. But he's the minority in that group.
Is Ember Swallower a sideboard card?
Ember Swallower. Wow, yeah, that has to be a sideboard card, but I didn't even see that.
5 mana, just where Troy wants to be.
Yep.
Yep.
We saw him last game bait out a counter spell on turn 5 with a War Leader's Helix and then untap into an Assemble the Legion. We'll see if Logan lets that happen again. Logan's stuck on 3 mana. Finally found
Double
second island for what we have to expect is multiple dissolves in his hands.
Oh man, another shot.
Awesome. Only 8 more.
Only 8 more shock and Magma Jet.
I would have really liked Magma Spray back.
Magma Spray would be good in a voice set.
Yeah.
It would have been really good if they had not printed Pillar of Flame and just printed Magma Spray.
Yeah.
The Magma Spray is only creature, right?
Yeah. And too many people would be casting it like at the end of turn on your voice, be like, well, I get the token. I'm like, oh yeah, you do. You do get the token.
I would do that 100 times.
I would do it so many. I do it once.
I would never stop doing it. My life would devolve into just
a vacuum of
year-long
Magma Spray voice.
Of instant speed Magma Sprays and voice.
You'd sleep in the middle of the night. Magma Spray voice. Your wife would be like, what are you doing?
Your wife would be like,
voice.
your wife would be like, I get a token.
I get a token. Go back to bed. I get a token. Leave me alone.
I think Troy scried one to the top, which at this point has to be any creature or 5 mana threat.
I mean, Pillar of Flame was good enough to still see some modern play. So.
Yeah.
Killed a lot of the problem cards in the format. All the persist guys.
You know what it kills? Death Ray.
Death Ray Shaman.
There he is. Is that the first time we made a PA? He's going to get
No.
scattered.
Wow.
Why would that still be a card? One thing Essence Scatter would be very good.
I mean, it's probably the same reason that Shock's still in Troy's deck, which is you just don't have enough cards to bring in for this matchup.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Troy's deck is weird. Like, you just what you want is a million counter spells, but I imagine Logan's probably playing most of them.
Yeah, I would think so. Oh man.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Oh, thought you were gonna gain 2. Nuh-uh. Lose 3.
It's a 5-point life swing.
it's a
I think.
5-point life swing for
It's a 2-player swing.
King Troy.
Oh,
Still while you're tapped out, we're going to Helix you. So, Logan went from comfortable life total to almost being Boros charmed out here, and just 2 spells from Troy.
Troy has, but 1 card.
Troy does have 1 card in hand. He's been scrying like a madman.
Logan's fine.
Logan free to resolve whatever he wants to. He has 6 mana.
Tap out for the 8 link out of the 2 board charms.
They've moved you out of the control seat.
I voluntarily moved myself out of control.
So
Why
if
is
we
that?
have an Elspeth, if we have an Aetherling, this is the turn.
Let me just do this so I can sit up against the wall.
Turn to get it, as there is no two card combination that can do 9 damage out of
No.
Troy's deck.
He has very few 4 damage spells.
The split card could do it if Logan has 5 cards in hand and doesn't play a spell in response. But I think it was safe to play a threat here if Logan had one. Past turn, end of turn. Sphinx's Rev. While you're tapped out, let's get a Magma Jet in. So we're going to lose 2 and then gain 3.
Logan's missing numerous land drops.
Yes, he has. And Troy has not, which is exactly the opposite of where these decks want to be. Troy decided to keep a spell on top of his deck instead of trying to dig for a creature. He put a Temple of Silence on the bottom.
Everything
That
he has
was-
on the bottom is going to be land.
That was the automatic one. But the question of keeping a spell or trying to find a card like a Symbol of the Legion, which I don't even know if you'd want to assemble the Legion at this point. If you have another one in your hand, you might, but you know Logan has Last Breath in his hand for your Phoenix. You know he has a Detention Sphere in his hand for your Assemble the Legion.
Is this Troy's instep?
Yes, while Logan's tapped out is the thinking here about Troy. And he knows what the top card of his library is.
No cards in hand.
Troy in a very bad position here, as Logan is at 7 life against the burn deck, but has drawn 5 extra cards, has a full grip, and an Aetherling with a
Aetherling.
blue mana to back it up.
Oh man.
So 3 turns now for Troy to find a way. Yeah, he did play land that turn. I was about to say, I think he discarded a land and forgot to play land that turn. So he kept a Magma Jet on top, which will drop him down to 5 life.
And he's keeping another Magma Jet on top.
It looks like it.
Which is, I mean, he's dead to 1 counterspell if that's the case. 1 counterspell will buy Logan enough turns to deal 20 damage with an Aetherling. Now, this Magma Jet can be aimed at the Aetherling if it decides to do 7 or 8 damage, to fog it for a turn, or to make... Well, if that's the case, Logan...
He's not going to win the game that way.
Logan would simply just tap 2 more mana to make it live. This has got to be for 7. Oh, come on. You have less than 2 minutes left on the clock, man.
They don't know that.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Recreational clock use was recently
Yeah, it is.
legalized in
it's
Colorado.
it's also, as we get a zinger from Vilianco, it's also a question of giving your opponent another turn. But
This game's over.
we see the reason why Logan did this now, as he gets to draw 5 cards while Troy has no cards in hand.
I'm telling you, everyone gives Logan so much shit. Like, he knows what he's doing to a certain extent.
I'm not.
No,
saying
I'm
here.
not talking about you, but like all those guys out there just give him unrelenting garbage. Like,
Same way they do Skibby and everybody else. Like, it's just,
No, you haven't known them long enough to know how much the crap they give Logan. Like, there's no way Troy can. Like, what sequence of cards? Assemble the Legion and 1,000.
Flip the table over and punch Logan in the face.
That's always an option. Logan could just quit Magic.
He could
and just
have a
leave.
brain aneurysm and flop down on the table.
I would
They wait for
prefer
another
not.
couple months so I could represent one of them in that.
is, yeah.
Like the sequence of cards that Troy would need would be assemble the Legion in like 7 extra turns.
So here's the... Oh, well, you know what? I was whinging last turn, and that it hasn't changed the clock at all. Now it has. But we could have... we could have swung for 8 here.
And we chose.
We choose to swing for 7 instead, which is... I mean, Logan has this game wrapped up. He can do
No,
whatever
but
he
I
wants
mean,
to.
8 would have been...
He could not attack and still and still be fine.
No, but no.
I
8
think
would
he
have been
just,
so much
I think
better.
he's just playing too... it's just a slight conservative thing. He's just leaving 2 counter spells up, but Troy only had 1 dynamic card in his hand.
Yeah, but they're...
It doesn't matter at all.
Now we're swinging for 8, drop you to 1.
Does
Does he have the gut shot? No, that's just for 7.
What's that card? Hidexku's second right. Is that the one like if they're at 10, it does 10 damage to him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Power of Kamigawa.
Those garbage cards.
Logan Cutlip pulling victory from the jaws of victory.
Combo with Soren Markov.
What time is it? 10:30.
Wow, it is 10:30.
Yeah. So go ahead and bring up the other cameras. So that is going to be the end of our coverage this week. I have to go home.
This is just a sad shack. Oh, imagine.
I mean, as bored as I am, I would still keep doing it, but I really do have to get some stuff together, and I got to hit the road tomorrow morning. So,
Any last words?
So I didn't do a giveaway this week. Again, I was soliciting input. I'll put a thing up on the Facebook page. There's no reason we have to do it today. We'll do it as we get closer to Christmas. I might do more than one. So if there's something, if you want to suggest something to give away, I would suggest being reasonable in your price point.
Could have gave away Garrett Fact.
What'd you get open?
A foil Warp Physique.
Not bad. Used to play that card.
I got a foil Riot Biker.
Oh, nice.
And Trait Doctoring, everyone's favorite.
Everyone's
I
favorite.
got Breaking and Entering as my...
And then, can you click that, go up one, not that one, then just like go arrow up.
How
and then
much
click that one. And
credit
then
can I get against an Arid Mesa with my foil Riot Biker?
0. And just to remind,
0? That's
yeah.
not very charitable.
And then just one more parting word, just to remind everyone, we're running the Commander Project over on the Facebook page at facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic, where we as a community are building a Maelstrom Wanderer EDH deck. This week we've been doing mana ramping and fixing, and then starting tomorrow we'll be doing the non-basic lands, and we'll move into creatures, spells, utility cards.
Artifacts, enchantments.
No, we're not doing those. Not all.
Not
those,
doing permanent type.
Not those specifics, but we'll get to that kind of stuff here later. But then we're going to collectively figure out what the final 99 is, and then I'm going to record some matches with that against the Commander Gauntlet. So that should be fun. So head over to our Facebook page, like it, and then look for the giveaway information. Have a Merry Christmas. There's no stream next Friday. There is a PTQ in Columbus next Saturday at the Countdown PTQ. It's also a 5K. So
$1,200 first place.
make sure you go out there and support those guys. They got screwed by Wizards with an awful weekend, despite the fact that they always have 225 people for their events. So go out there and support them. They run great events. For more information, just go to Comic Town's website on Facebook. And then on the 4th, January the 4th, Saturday, here in Charleston, West Virginia, PTQ at the Civic Center. Standard, of course, so obviously try to come win chance to go on the next Pro Tour, but more importantly, both Lost Legion and Affinity for Cards will be running vendor booths, so come and help support those who support the stream. Sell me your Magic cards, and then buy more Magic cards. Affinity buys well, that's all I can tell you. Anything else from you, gentlemen? No?
Nope, that's it.
Thanks for watching. Sorry that there was, I don't know, whatever. So have a Merry Christmas.
Best stream of the year.
And then we will see you guys next. We'll see you in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Merry
Have a good
Christmas,
one.
Happy Holidays, Happy New Year.
See you next year. Just click the X out button.
Don't forget Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa.
Holidays.
And a Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes.
No, I want to forget.